Yep. So, yesterday we learned how to factor binomials. Today we're going to learn how to factor trinomials. Now, the reason it's called a trinomial is because there are three terms. The x squared is the first term, the x to the first power is your second term, and then this negative 20 is your third term. Okay? Anytime you're asked to factor a trinomial and the leading coefficient is 1, you're going to factor it using what we call the bubble method. Now, the reason we call it the bubble method is because you factor it into two binomials. Okay, and some teachers just call those bubbles. Now, to get x squared, you have to do what times what? Turn around and pay attention, please. Okay, now, the reason that we've been doing those pages 10 through 13 is for what we're doing today. You have to look for two numbers. And those two numbers must multiply to give you your C value, which is a negative 20, your constant. They have to multiply to give you your constant, and they have to add to give you your B value, which is always by the x, and that's a negative 1 right there, isn't it? So, what are some numbers that multiply to just 20? Okay. Are 4 and 5 going to be able to give you a 1? Yes. What would give you a negative 1? Right, a 4 and a negative 5 would give you a negative 1, and would a 4 and a negative 5 multiply to a negative 20? So your answer is x plus 4, because we needed a positive 4, and x minus 5. Okay, and that is the answer to this problem. Now, let me show you why that's the answer. You don't have to write this down. I'm just going to quickly show you why it's the answer. Okay, hold on one second. If I were to take these two binomials and distribute them back out like we all know how to do, x times x is x squared, x times negative 5 is negative 5x, then you have to distribute the 4. 4 times x is positive 4x, and 4 times negative 5 is negative 20. And then I combine like terms. That can't combine with anything. Can't the negative 5x add with the 4x? Because they're both just a regular x to the first. And what do they add up to be? Negative 1x and then minus 20. And isn't that what we started with? That lets me know that this is the right answer. Those are the right factors that would make that trinomial. Okay, so Peyton, what's your question? You pay attention. Number 3. Pay attention. We're dealing with a trinomial. Okay, I know it's a trinomial because it has 3 terms. That's term 1, that's term 2, and that's term 3. That's what makes it a trinomial. The leading coefficient is 1, which means we can factor this using the bubble method. We're going to factor it into two binomials. Now, the first thing you can do, which is the easiest thing, is go ahead and write n times n, because that's what will make that n squared when you distribute. Now, to get your numbers to go in each binomial, you're looking for two numbers. And those two numbers must multiply to give you your constant value, which is 90. And those same two numbers must add to give you your B value, which is 19. Okay, so now, what numbers multiply to 90 and add to 19? 10 and 9. And they can both be positive because you're multiplying to a positive and you're adding to a positive. And so your factors are 10 plus 9, or n plus 10, n plus 9. Now, had you written it like this, that's also correct. It doesn't matter what order you write the factors in, as long as you have them both there and both with the correct sign. Okay, so both of those are considered correct. Right. Okay, number 5. Okay, we have a trinomial, and the trinomial's leading coefficient is 1, so that means we can factor by the bubble method. What variable do we put at the front of each binomial? R, because R times R will make that R squared. This time we're looking for two numbers that multiply to give you 24. You always multiply to get your constant value, the number without a variable. And they have to add to give you the negative 11. You need to focus first on the numbers and not the signs. What are some numbers that multiply to 24? 8 and 8. Okay, are you going to be able to add 8 and 3 and get an 11? Yes, but to get it to be a negative 11, they both need to be negative. Because a negative times a negative will still make a positive, and when you add a negative and a negative, it adds to negative 11. So over here it would be r minus 8, or you could have written r minus 3 first. It doesn't matter what order you put them in. Yes? Number 7. Okay, we have a trinomial with a leading coefficient of 1. So we're going to factor by the bubble method, which means we're going to find the two binomials that would make this. X times x goes first to make the x squared. You're looking for two numbers that do what? Right? And those numbers are 8 and 2. 8 times 2 is 16. 8 plus 2 is 10. So your factors are x plus 8 and x plus 2. Okay, number 9. Again, a trinomial with a leading coefficient of 1 means we can factor using the bubble method. We're finding the two binomials that when distributed would make that. So r times r, and then you're looking for two numbers that do what? Okay, we'll start with 10 and 7, but to make it a negative, 10 and, but to make it a negative 3 when you add them, negative 10. Anytime, you need to try to remember that anytime you're adding two numbers and you want your answer to stay negative, the bigger of the two needs to be the negative number. Okay, let me say that again because people aren't listening to me. Anytime you're adding and you want your answer to be negative, the bigger number needs to have the negative. That will keep it negative. Okay? If you want to add up and be positive, then the bigger number would need to be the positive. Okay? Does that make sense? So our factors are r minus 10, r plus 7. Okay, I'm going to give you about 5 minutes to do the evens by yourself.